Good morning, Hallowed Haven family. This is After Dawn, the show where we sit down to have a cup of coffee with the cast, crew, and creators behind Hallowed Haven Studios Productions. I'm Sol, and I'm joined by my co-host, Cyan.
Yes, hello, I'm Cyan, and today we're talking about Chill, The Office, Episode 3, Middle Management. This episode, we had some musical spiders and possessed scientists. Honestly, I thought this episode was very funny. We got to see some of the characters go off the wall a little bit, which is new, but still exciting. But my opinion is not the only one here. What are your thoughts, Saul?
I really liked it. I liked that it was willing to go a little bit wackier with things, and that it was just a little more out there, kind of goofy, as opposed to just the sort of mundane office, like funny in a sort of depressing way that they usually do. So it was a lot of fun. It had me laughing a lot while I was listening to it. But also, my opinions are not the only one here. We are joined by one of our wonderful players, Termite, and our recurring SPC friend, Alereg. Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
It's weird. It's like I was just here last week.
Almost, right? We're going to have to get you like a membership card. Welcome back to the show, both of you. You've been on the show before, you know how it works. But for those of you who have decided to tune in for the first time, interesting choice for the third episode. But we start the show off by percolating a little bit with questions to our lovely guests about themselves. Then we move on to drink our cups of coffee, discussing the events of the show and more about the characters themselves. And then we'll get to spilling the tea with questions from the chat, the fans, and other players, as well as opening the floor for myself and my co-host to take on questions. Let's start percolating with a question to Alereg, who's a bit of a veteran SPC for HHS. What's it like being an SBC for these big shows, especially one that has consistent appearances? Because you were on you're here every week for this season, and during Apotheosis, you were here a few times as a dwarf.
And there are also a few other occasions where I was SPCs for shows that made it out there, but you never actually knew I was an SPC on them even. That there's a small little spill of tea, however, but not too much spoilers, to be honest. It's a lot of fun. It's this feeling of, okay, I'm not a player, so there's not this huge goal resting upon my shoulders. However, I can't make this a boring individual sort of situation. So for like Apotheosis, Dolgrim was mild-mannered, very kind of speaking down here all the time. But with Becker, he gets around in more ways than one.
Yeah, it's kind of funny going from someone so grumbly to someone so like full of life, even if he is just an administrative assistant.
Well, lots of tea and what used to be lots of coffee will do that to you, you know.
By now, I'm sure that coffee has burned. I actually have a question for Termite. Just from seeing you kind of wander around in this setting, makes me wonder if you've had any experience working in an office like the show portrays.
I haven't had any personal experience working in an office like this myself. I have had the absolute pleasure of kind of assisting people that did have jobs like this, though, in my off time, because I did all sorts of random shit in high school. But yeah, nothing personal. I've never worked in an office myself.
Interesting. You play the part really well of someone who's just really sick of being there.
Yeah, it's perfect. Next, I have a question for Alereg. How did you get ready for this episode? Because Becker had a lot more energy this episode, like singing, dancing, all the performing. What kind of special prep did you do to kind of get into that mindset?
Not a gosh darn fucking thing. The entire front part of that boisterousness was just me going into full theater mode to give you guys an idea back at home that don't know this, IRL, I work backstage as a stagehand. I've been doing theatrical performances or performing in them or making sure that they are run well for probably the last 2013, a good 12 plus, more than that even, years. So it's a lot of real life experience that's going into that, and also just the idea of I know what makes an actor much, and the idea of this being a theatrical show or theatrical virus, we're not quite exactly sure about that. It was very easy to like, hey, how extra can you be? The response I gave the chill master Scott was a smiling imp face.
That's perfect.
Sometimes
Yeah.
emojis are portrayed so much better than words can.
Hey, a picture's worth 1,000 words, am I right?
True enough, true enough. So, Alereg, did you expect Becker to be as integral to the party, especially to how the party acts in the moment to moment, as when you took on this role, or was that kind of a surprise to you so far?
Very much a surprise. The Chillmaster has been very lenient with where and when I can interject. In particular in various things like me just coming up with random family members off the top of my head.
So that was just random.
Yeah, that was not planned. The only thing that was planned, and this is a minor spill the tea moment. Or actually, I was going to say this is a major spill the tea moment. So, spoilers, folks. Skip over for the next 5 seconds after this. Becker is meant to be the info dump.
So the walking exposition man.
Exactly.
I mean, that works really well. All of those family members, they really help with gathering that info.
It's like a one-man spy network.
Mm-hmm.
One family spy network.
Yeah, I was really not expecting that. I was figuring that was that was well planned. Well done, sir.
Sometimes things are serendipitous.
Yeah, I suppose so. Termite, important question for you.
All right.
Were you at all ready for a musical episode?
So I did know going into this episode that things were going to be a little over the top. I was very much slapped in the face by just how over the top everything was, though. I did not expect musical. I expected like mediocre play where everybody's overacting a bunch. And we got some of that too, but
Yes, you can't really expect just how out there things will get.
Nobody expects the musical number.
Oh God, no one does. Another sort of add-on to that. Do you really hate musicals, or is that just Amy that hates musicals?
Oh no, I fucking love musicals. They're great.
So it's just Amy that's the downer there.
Absolutely.
Everything is tainted once it enters the office space.
That's true. Also, everything's tainted once you become forced to be a part of it.
That's true. No one ever
Also
wants to
very
be
true.
made to do something. If they want to do something, they'll do it. But make them do it, and they're going to hate it, even if it's something they adore.
That's perfect. So another question for Ulrich. We did kind of touch on this a bit. You do work in not just musical theater, but theater in general. What are your overall thoughts on musicals, and do you have a favorite one?
Oh no! Why you ask me to find my favorite child here? Fuck. So, to give you an idea, as of this episode, in I want to say 3 weeks, I will actually be doing the load-in for Hamilton at the local Performing Arts Center here.
Ooh.
And I've done that. I've done Wicked. I've done Lion King. I have done everything from WWE Raw to Eric Church. I have done Slipknot. I have done Styx. I've done Trans-Siberian Orchestra. The litany of things that we will set up and allow to perform and such is very, very vast. And favorite musical, fuck. Favorite historical musical, because there is a difference. There are various plays that have touched upon history or meant to be set in historical parts. Favorite historical musical is going to be Hamilton, just because it's fantastic and amazing and I love it. The like a sci-fi sort of thing there really doesn't get touched on in musical theater all that much, so I don't know if I have to really go into that. If we're looking for a favorite classical piece, Wizard of Oz, which most people don't think about, but it is technically a musical. If I had to go for a fantastical piece, though, definitely Wicked.
All right, you heard it here, folks. He has multiple favorite musicals. He has to give categories.
And he hates every other musical out there.
Yep, if you didn't
all of them
listen,
are trash.
it doesn't make sense. If you didn't listen, it's garbage.
There are actually 2 musicals I do hate.
Ooh,
one of them being Cats.
I'm inclined to agree with that. Cats is awful.
Horrible. Yeah. The reason why, to give you some background ideas here, Cats was the entire premise of Cats. The reason why it is so unusual as it is because it is a book of poems about cats that they decided to try and turn into musical theater and then make a story out of it somehow.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
And then the second one that I did not hate from the musical standpoint, but more the working on it standpoint, was Disney's Frozen.
Care to elaborate?
So in technical theater, we have what are called battens. These are these long steel pipes where we hang drops, which are anything from static pieces that would swing more like doors on these steel pipes as they go up and down. And Frozen had a number of these static drops. Each batten is rated for a certain amount of weight. Usually somewhere on the lines of about 1,600 to 2,400 pounds. We had to triple batten 3 of these drops because of how heavy they were. So a rough estimation of how much poundage that is somewhere between 1.5 to 3 tons in the air above people's heads.
That's a little terrifying to think about.
That's excessive, even.
And that's just one of those drops. There's 3 of those like that.
Speaking of nightmares,
Yep.
I have a question for both of you. What are your thoughts on spiders?
I'll put it like this. If they're inside my house, they're trespassing, and I will either escort them outside the house or deal with them if they are upon my protective people.
I genuinely and unironically love spiders. I think they're amazing. They're just funky little guys.
Or gals.
Yeah, they just hang out, eat bug.
But don't mind them, honestly. It's when they start invading into my own actual space is when I okay, guys, move. If you're up in the rafters, don't care, but yeah.
Y'all are braver than I.
So some spiders are fucking adorable.
Yes. Jumping spiders, wolf spiders are actually great.
I've had too many times where I've gone to the bathroom to take a shower, and there's just been a wolf spider hanging out on my curtain. And I'm just like, nah, I can't see you as cute no more. Get out.
Once the spiders have seen you naked, then they're intruding.
Yep. Too much.
Yeah, basically.
So I think we have percolated a good bit. I think it's about time that we start drinking our cups of coffee here, or tea, as it were. Alereg, just how big of a family does Becker have? As we touched on this a little bit before, that you just come up with family members at random, but is there like a limit, or is he just like, I don't know, like the Smiths or the Kennedys or whatever?
If we are assuming this is Denver, imagine half the population is his family.
Wow, that's a lot of family members.
That's not a small city, so...
Oh.
Are we sure that Becker's a normal guy?
Well, he's a normal guy. It's the women of the Becker family household that are impressive, you know.
They need to get a TV.
To learn how to take cold showers.
Or at least learn what the hell a condom is, but that's all another matter too.
Oh, no.
That said, if they were all to move away, that also is a large amount of jobs that Olsen would open up then too, so...
That's like the collapse of an entire society. If all of that family just decided to get up and leave, half of the population of Denver, it's done. It's on fire. It's gone.
Not only that, but half of the population that holds at least one job in any field imaginable, apparently.
Yeah.
And also that half of that population is somehow inexorably able to go to a government facility with various treats and things.
This requires more explanation.
And
But maybe.
significant amount of background checks too.
Yeah, a lot. Oh no. That's just, whole situation sounds nightmarish. I have a question for Termite though. Is there anything that could happen at the office that would make Amy just completely nope on out? I mean, we saw her almost run out of the door during the dancing scene, but
musical number was real close. I mean, at this point, not really. Unless she gets offered like an actual promotion to some sort of management, that would make her leave immediately.
Like, leave for the new job or leave to avoid the new job?
Leave to avoid the new job, because in this, if she's promoted within the office, not necessarily save as a whole, but if she's promoted specifically within the office to some sort of management, something has gone horribly wrong.
kind of on that same note, would there be like a dream job for Amy, or is this it?
She would much rather be out in the field more often and not stuck in the office doing paperwork. But I think working with Save is kind of her ideal job.
Makes sense. She gets to go out into the field and help people, and only occasionally has to come back to, more occasionally has to go out in the field and help people, and then has to deal with the paperwork afterwards.
Yeah, she'd very much prefer it if it was the other way around.
Fair enough. So, Alereg, Becker knows, well, apparently half the population of Denver, and he probably gets to just generally know what everyone is up to in the office. How much does he know of what the group is actually up to? He deals with basically everyone, but how much does he actually really keep tabs on the group?
A fair amount is the most I'll say on the group. Mostly because I can't reveal too much with Termite here. He doesn't know, like, maybe home addresses off the top of his head. However, he does work with Karen, who's from HR. Like, they're in the same bullpen together.
Gross, Karen.
She is just a stickler for the rules that get arbitrarily tossed out now and then.
Whatever you say, dude.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So I have a important question for Termite. What is more horrifying to Amy, being pulled into the musical number or having to deal with the Krampus?
Oh, the musical number, 110%.
But
Krampus
why?
kills life.
Because the musical number is effectively a social situation, and she doesn't like those. At least with the Krampus, one, there was a clear way out of it. And there was a very real possibility that she didn't have to deal with the embarrassment of getting stuck in a musical number in the middle of an office with a bunch of people in it.
One is death by monster, the other one's social suicide.
Yeah, one of those is worse than the others, because one of them didn't serve a purpose.
That's very true. I mean, kind of in that same vein, what would have been more what would Amy have done if she had gotten like affected by the dancing plague, and how would she have acted?
90% of her speeches would be overly exaggerated soliloquies, where she's just brooding about everything and anything. Most likely, it's any sort of technology in the office being broken.
Like the copier?
Yeah, like the copier.
Yeah, that does seem to be a trend. There's always something new that's broken in every episode.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon.
No. And then the leak keeps moving too.
As we all know, the leak has gained sentience.
Have we tried talking to the guy that causes the leak? We could probably stop it if we just talk to him.
There's a guy?
What to say? Like, who's the guy that's causing the leak?
I mean, it's a sentient leak. There might as well be a guy causing it.
Fair. Someone had to give the leak sentience after all.
Exactly. Sure. Sort of a Frankenstein's monster situation.
Now I'm just imagining the leak forming into a 6 foot tall dude with a rumpled button up. It's like, all right, guys, I'm ready to do paperwork, and everything he touches just has like water stains all over it.
Yeah, it's just wet.
No, please.
The office becomes 10% more humid whenever he's around.
Oh God. I feel like Amy's going to use the Frankenstein's monster analogy just to sort of give reason for why she wants to burn down the office.
It might not be to burn down the office, but yes.
Well, you can't with Aguardo here.
Just imagine that instead of the hills have eyes, it's the pipes have leaks.
Oh God.
That sounds awful.
All right. So my next question is for Alereg. Is Becker actually a fan of like the mandatory morale fun times initiatives, or does he just go along with it because he has to?
It's kind of fun, honestly. Obviously, he's enjoying the dress-up part of various things and such, like flip-flops, the fedora, fanny pack. It's kind of a not so much a morale boost. It's just this is kind of fun. Fuck it, whatever. And it's obvious that he has quite nice ones for whatever he does, where the flip-flops are very nice looking. The fedora obviously was very fancy. So, it's just fun.
Feels like there's a little...
Sorry, you go ahead.
I was gonna say feels like there's a little bit of preparation involved here, calling in on the cousins for favors to get the nice stuff, good stuff without breaking the bank.
I'm going to say that this is his mother making sure that he's well prepared for these things.
Is his mother also the reason he gets the memos on time?
No, that's more likely because he's right next to HR.
That's fair.
It's the threat of, if I hear Karen complaining one more time about the memos being late, I'm jumping out of this window.
Or he's the one that's having to deliver said memo to Leroy to make sure it gets sent to the rest of the greater office.
Which one of the morale mandatory things is Becker's favorite?
So far, it's been the fedora, if only because fedoras are fucking cool. When they're actually fedoras and not trilbies, mind you.
And when they're not being worn by a douchebag.
That too.
Yeah, that helps.
But no miladies here.
So, Termite, after some pretty chill sessions here, I apologize for nothing. What was it like to be in some real danger when you're running from the scientists and had to, as you said, do some sciencey shit?
It escalated far faster than I expected it to.
Yeah, I was not expecting you to suddenly have to deal with the body snatchers.
Yeah, I was expecting there to be some build up between them noticing what was going on and, hey, they're chasing us, we gotta go. But yeah, I mean, I've been waiting for it the entire time because, everything seems fine, but also at its heart, Chill, especially our game, is a horror game. Even if ours is more comedic. So, there's always something in the dark. Don't turn around. It's really shy.
Even if what it is just musical number scientists.
Yeah. In fact, especially don't turn around when they're behind you, because it'll be really awkward.
Attack of the Nerds.
Terrifying than you think.
Attack of the choreographed nerds.
Oh,
even worse.
Yeah.
Because they know how to explode shit with extra theatrical flair then.
Yeah. So, Alereg, I have one more question for you. How did you come up with the final scene with the Oreos? Did that just come to you on the spot, or was that something you planned?
That was something that came to me a little bit before break. To the point of all right, gotta be some sort of fun little number. What would be something that would be so disturbing and put them off, but still be somewhat tame and we wouldn't get a strike for? Let's do it. For those of you that don't realize, the scene in question here was from The Wizard of Oz. The Winkies, the guard Winkies, with their green skin, guarding over the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphabuzz Castle, do a chant where it's "Oh-wee-oh, wee-oh-wah." And it's just that while they're marching around with their big halberd pike things. In this case, to make it obviously so we don't have a strike, because, Twitch terms of services and we actually want to have some extra income from this, we just decided, fuck it, let's do what they did with Wreck-It Ralph, where it was Oreo. Whatever. And just marching around with Oreo packages of different various flavors and varieties for fun.
So it was not product placement?
No, we are not sponsored by Oreo.
Unfortunately.
God, if we could, though.
That would be fire.
Diabetic but would not survive.
Get the sugar-free kinds.
Well, the issue is that the sugar-free kind aren't always usually the gluten-free kind either, though.
Oh.
I gotta have both.
I feel betrayed by my favorite cookie for not being inclusive.
They try. Yeah. Better than Twinkies.
That's a real low bar.
Fair, but still.
Yeah, I was like, that's a bar so low, you might as well trip over it.
To be fair,
I would.
most cookies out there, though, don't also have mint, Valentine's varieties, pumpkin spice varieties, regular Oreos that are gluten-free, double stuff Oreos that are gluten-free, mega stuff, super thin style for those that have like dietary issues and such. Usually they don't go that ball for most cookie types. So
Need I remind you, this is not sponsored. We just really like Oreos.
yes,
Yeah, just putting it out there again.
If you wanna. Wink, wink.
I mean...
oh jeez, they could.
The one person that works at Oreo listening to this.
maybe the next front runner show that we'll get, or the flag show we'll have is coffee sponsored, and we'll be able to get something from Folgers or something. I don't know.
No.
Probably not Folgers. I've shit on Folgers enough already here.
Oh no, damn it. Burning bridges before they're even made.
That's just how we do.
It's called efficiency.
Yeah, fair.
It's a preemptive strike on sponsorships. So I think it has come time for us to begin to spill the tea. This section is more freeform, with questions tailored toward the what the fuck moments of the episode, controversies, rumors, hints of love interests, and so on and so forth. In this section, we'll also invite the guests to ask each other any pressing questions they might have, or to ask Cyan or myself any questions that they may have, or any questions they would like us to ask in the future for the next people that we will have here in the at the After Dawn Coffee House. But we're going to start off with a rather bit of a simpler question. I believe this is Cyan's question.
Yes, I have a question for Termite. With how much she mentions this specific topic, would Amy actually try to burn down the office?
It would be very difficult, but if she, especially if she had a valid reason to, yeah, she 100% would. It's just very difficult to burn down an entire mountain.
Not with that line of thinking.
You know, mountains are notoriously fire resistant, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Except for volcanoes.
Well,
Yeah.
even then, they're not so much on fire. They're just, molten.
That I'll give you. So, here's a question. Absolutely no filter, so feel free to be as blunt and as honest as you like. What does Amy actually think of her group and the various shenanigans they get up to, especially like Frankie?
Oh, most of the shenanigans are fine. The constant stealing, especially of Phil's keys, and now her being such a bad influence that Leroy is now stealing things, is concerning. But in general, the shenanigans are fun, so long as they don't get anybody into too much trouble. But,
except for Dirk from accounting.
Fuck that guy.
I still have no idea why you're so on about Dirk. Or I should say why Alfred's so on about Dirk, but...
Well, I don't know either, honestly. I think it was a throwaway line that's turned into a bit.
Yeah, basically.
I don't think there are throwaway lines anymore. I think everything is just a bit waiting to happen.
To be fair, that's how Amy threatening to burn the building down was.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, well, if we trigger the fire alarms in this building or in front of this room, then it'll fix things. And then it was like, well, you know what's a really good way to get rid of a bunch of things really quickly?
I'm the same with Becker's family, actually. It was the throwaway saying, like, oh yeah, my cousin works in the pizza shop.
So many good bits just from random improv.
Same sort of question to Becker. What does Becker think of everything the group gets up to? Again, especially Frankie's sticky fingers.
He's, well, spilling the tea here, fully in this case. He's getting suspicious. This is very unusual to happen, and more weird shit has been happening since they've been coming back on Friday after going out on the field. So he's a little like, what the hell?
Or is it that they've just been finding the weird things that are happening?
Yeah, it's a question of, are they good at their jobs, or are they tracking shit back to the office?
Well, it's either they're incompetent, or they're planning shit, or they're really good at their jobs, and there was just stuff underneath the surface. So it's that weird, like, okay, either they have no clue what the fuck they're doing, they have the best idea of what the fuck they're doing, or they know what the fuck they're doing, however it's things that we don't want to happen.
So many possibilities.
Yeah. Such is the world of a man that wants to know things.
So here's a fun question. Becker, as a character, kind of seems too good to be true. So when's he gonna, betray the crew?
My God.
You had to see this coming.
Yeah, fair. It's not actually planned to be any sort of betrayal. He honestly is a government official that is just trying to do his fucking job, which is be an administrative assistant for a place that hunts monsters.
Or that's what you want us to think.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I can deafen myself and you can tell them the real answer.
The answer is going to be like 10 seconds of silence as we sit here awkwardly.
So, also talking about Becker, I actually have a question from the last episode. What's Becker's last name? He talks about having a big family. What are they called? Or is Becker his last name?
I haven't actually gotten a last name for him yet, technically. If you want, I can make one up fucking on the fly right now.
Is it Becker?
No, it is
yeah,
not
it's like Mario
Becker.
Mario.
Oh god, I hate that all the more. Oh god. You know what? If it's gonna be something like that, though, I would have it be a name that's not pronounceable normally. And the closest that I can come to that was there was a TV show way back when that was depicting essentially World War II Nazi-occupied Poland sort of situation. And a Polish resistance fighter came up and decided to give the most absurd name possible. So I'll take his little leave on this and say his last name is Brzeskiewicz. And I will find the spelling in just a second here. So it is, god damn it.
You can do it. I have faith in you.
BRZEZYSZYKIEWICZ. 5 Z's. Holy crap.
Welcome to Polish.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no kidding.
And to give you, like, I will throw this into the After Dawn General here. Yes, we have multiple text chats here for folks to watch, but yeah, that.
Oh my god. That is terrifying.
Would you like some vowels with your consonant salad?
There are vowels in there. They're just kind of sprinkled in.
There's like 3.
No, there's more vowels than that.
Well, I mean, if you don't count Y.
I don't.
Without Y, then there's a total of 4.
See, that was a pretty good guess for not counting.
Yeah.
God, language and phonetics is weird.
It'll be
Oh, yeah.
Bezkiewicz.
Oh my gosh. As long as the initials are BB, I'm happy.
It's BB. Yep.
So, as kind of like the person that deals with everyone, does Becker have like his ideal pairings in his head for like his coworkers? Does he ship anybody?
He doesn't go into the shipping sort of thing. Well, he does shipping, but not that kind of shipping.
Right.
Are we talking like overnight?
No, this is full on next business day. In triplicate, of course.
Of course.
In this case, the closest thing that he can ship of any way, shape, or form, honestly, would be Leroy and Frankie. But the only reason why that is because, well, Franklin's been teasing with Leroy, and so he's been hearing some rumors, and it's like, ooh, my friends are getting together, sort of thing. And it's not so much I can ship Frankie and Alfred or something like that. It's not that kind of thing. He's not writing fan fiction in his off time.
Dang.
Well, why not?
Yeah, why not?
You know,
He's
just
working
because.
next to
Actually,
Karen.
I'm not going to make that joke.
For reals, though, he's working next to Karen.
Yeah, it's an HR issue, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. She looks over your shoulder and sees your Frankie X Leroy
Smut?
fan
Yeah,
fiction. Yeah.
No.
Awful.
Yep.
I think you just made Termite throw up.
Quite possibly.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Just a smidgen.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I think that is a good time for us to open up the floor to Termite and Alereg. Do you have any questions for each other, or for us, or for the rest of the group, or for Karen?
I do have a question for Alereg. How does Becker feel about Karen?
He feels about Karen as much information as he knows about her, which right now the party has not revealed anything that they know about her to him, so the most that he knows is she's extremely peppy. But, she gets her work done, and she gets her work done fast. Whatever. It's not an annoyance, it is she's a coworker from work, we work well together, whatever.
It's a much less fun answer than I was expecting.
I know, right?
Where's the rage?
The rage is not there when he has to deal with a family that is the size of half of Denver.
That's true. Your conflict resolution skills must be off the charts.
Yeah, no.
Going off of that, is Becker's family a mafia?
They're not designed to be one, if that tells you anything.
Not designed to be one.
So unclear.
They're not supposed to be mafia, no. They don't do tax evasion. They don't actually try and go around killing people. Yes, the grandfather may be a cleaner, but the grandfather is also in his 60s to 80s.
I love how the first thing you jump to is they don't commit tax evasion.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what got Al Capone, so...
Now listen, at least one of them's got to be a white-collar criminal.
Just a little bit of insider trading? With all those friends, how can you not?
More like stock exchange portfolios.
All totally above board.
Yep. I mean, every single person that he's mentioned so far has a job, has a not great paying job, but has a hard working job at least. So
that's very true, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I got one for Termite here, though.
Ooh.
What exactly do you do in the field? I know you're the IT specialist.
So in the field, it's generally, well, at least last time she was the one that could, kind of predict shit that was going to happen. So she kind of handles planning things, making sure that nobody gets fucking killed. In general, what happens when you get premonitions?
So less technology, more not psychology, but prophecy.
Yeah, kind of. It's also real hard when there isn't a whole lot of technology to work with. So she has a more practical approach to things generally.
Yeah, fair enough. It is the government. They don't get the greatest funding.
Yeah.
Which is odd.
It is odd.
Mm-hmm.
I got another question, though, but this time it's for you two, Cyan and Solomon.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
What has been your favorite either bit or 10 to 15 seconds short? What's your favorite scene or moment within the episode so far?
You go first, Cyan.
Okay, so when I was listening on Friday, I don't even remember what Gary said as Alfred, but it was very rude in the context that was immediately followed up by Termite responding as Amy saying, "You shouldn't talk about Frankie like that," and actually got a chuckle out of Alfred, and that was my favorite moment so far. I thought it was really clever.
Oh, it was about the two people with sticky fingers and one's a zombie.
Yeah. You shouldn't talk about Frankie like that. Wow.
I mean, goddamn.
Somebody called the fire department because that was a burn.
It was like an RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah. Damn, what'd you do?
I'll grab my sister.
What?
Huh?
My sister. She's one of the fire department respects.
Oh, okay.
I should say Becker's sister, not actually my sister.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, are you actually going to go talk to someone? Or anyway,
no.
Yeah. My personal favorite bit, I think, is it's one that started in the first episode and came back in this most recent episode, is that the fact that these intense shenanigans that seem to take so much focus and so much effort and so much of the party's time only happens within an hour and a half of them actually getting to the office.
Yeah, we didn't even make it till lunch. It was 10:30 by the time we finished.
Yeah, every time Alfred looks at the watch or the clock and it just swears with such vitriol, just always sets me rolling.
It's been negative 5 minutes. Frick!
It's somehow earlier than when you arrived.
I'd actually like to jump in and answer this question as well.
By all means.
I think my favorite bit, at least from the from this last episode, was the spider mimosas bit.
Yes.
Going on spider vacation, gonna drink spider mimosas.
Fucking spider mimosas.
And it's like we have milk, tea, spiders. What spiders it is? What? No. And then he pours a cool glass of spiders.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because it was right on the heels of Amy being like, okay, so we're going to go dissect the spider. As though Frankie wasn't standing right there.
Yeah.
Well, she was in Spider Mom mode.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have a question for Becker to turning that around on you. What's your favorite bit?
Jeez. I think my favorite bit has to be the slap click.
Oh God!
I'm having flashbacks.
For those of you that may be joining in a little bit later in the series here, the slap click is reference to the wonderful Bloody Porcelain's Karen character, who Becker shares a bullpen with, where she found, or I should say I found an image of flip-flop heels to go with BP's idea of Karen wearing flip-flop heels for Flip-Flop Friday. And the audio cue that she gave was slap click, slap click.
Yeah, that was a good one. It was disturbing in all the right ways.
Yeah, it was good in the worst possible way they could be. Well, all right. Does anyone do either of you have any questions for anyone else in the group that you would like us to ask, or do you have questions for Karen? Because we're going to be speaking to BP and Karen later on.
I'm very curious what Karen's opinions on the group are, and how much she knows about the shit that they're getting up to.
I would also ask the same question of how does she feel about Becker, her bullpen mate, who doesn't seem to get into shit, but also seems kind of unusual. Beyond that, I got nothing else really for anyone else. I'm sure it'll probably come up again later on. Should we do more of these recordings, though?
Oh, I'm sure we will.
We're not even halfway through the season, though.
Yeah,
There's
we've got
plenty
plenty
more
of time. Plenty of time.
We watch this governmental building is crumble in on itself.
Or,
That's how the last
somehow
episode's
burn
gonna
some.
end.
Yeah, it's just going to collapse in on itself, like imploding. Or like a
Pro
black
gamer.
hole.
Pro gamer office space moment.
And set
It
out a
was called
fire.
the pro gamer move.
Yep.
Yeah.
Arson.
I'm gonna do a pro gamer move. I'm gonna create a black hole or a singularity in the middle of this office.
Imagining that we always see as the office is burning behind the group is just Amy with a can of gasoline
And a big grin on her face.
Oh yeah. Is it like
I told you I'd do it.
The greatest anime portrayal of just evil incarnate with a huge smiling grin, blackened face with just the white of her eyes showing, sort of thing.
It turns out Amy was the villain all along.
Amy was an unknown, but no one actually predicted it because she was the one that was predicting everything.
Hold on, I gotta go pitch something to Scott real quick.
Oh no. As if this series didn't have enough monsters already.
Well, there is the one part of the party that is actively destroying a man's career by getting his keys every single day. So
it's true. And actively destroying a different man's reputation by constantly blaming everything wrong on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was not expecting that. Oh yeah, I saw Dirk messing with the AC. I think it was him.
Yeah, and I love that everyone just went along with it like they expected. It's like, fucking Dirk.
I was more than willing to be like, yeah, I gotta fill out paperwork. I fucked with something. But Alfred was just like, yeah, it was Dirk. I was like, okay, sure.
By this point, out of the four of you, it's going to be Kayla Prophet, who's going to be the most innocent, and only because she hasn't been around for the past 2 weeks because she's been in an audit thing.
Yeah, it's true.
Been learning how to commit tax evasion.
I mean, gotta start somewhere. We got another cousin for that, too.
Of course you do.
I thought you said that your family didn't commit tax evasion.
The family doesn't. This one that's a black sheep of the family, though, does. No.
You can just
Family
have a
of
little
Hope.
white collar crime as a treat.
Activation's bad. This one guy loves it though.
Yeah, out of all of the half the population of Denver, one man. That's how we can always tell what happens. Like, okay, why does he have so much money? Look at the taxes. Ah, right, got it.
One
Right.
man stands alone against the tide of people paying their taxes.
Against the IRS.
He gonna lose. Okay,
And that-
half of 711,463 people.
So 360,500 some plus.
That's a big family, bro.
That's a gigantic family, dude.
Yeah.
What the hell are Thanksgivings like?
Yeah, I want to know.
Hell. It's not even a Thanksgiving like dinner table. It is just a football stadium that they take over for 2 days.
It's horrendous.
You start hearing Oreo shouted through the streets and the marching of the entire family's footfalls.
You'd have to rent like 6 fucking football stadiums.
You can't know everybody in your family, to be fair.
I don't know, a family like that, they seem like the kind that would have whole ass family reunions.
Take up an entire state park.
Yeah.
And not a
Yes.
small one.
Or
And
a
it's
small
standing
island.
room only.
They take up the entirety of Yellowstone.
Yellowstone is no longer able to erupt because the Breskieviches are all standing upon Yellowstone, and the pressure is too much.
They're keeping it held down. Oh, Lord. Well, I believe that is all that we have. Thank you both so much for coming on and talking to us again this evening.
Thank y'all for having us.
Anytime. And thank you all for listening. These episodes are dropped Thursdays at noon for the $5 plus tier of the Patreon. They are released to the public 1 month later, so think about subscribing so that way you can be up to date with your talk news for Hallowed Haven Studios. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.